First time in 2023.
Yeah.
We are back with a new episode. Let me start doing my shares.
Well, long time coming.
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
Even though it wasn't planned.
No, it definitely wasn't. Keys kept annoying the shit out of us.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, he's a very convincing dude. That's all I can say. He's very convincing.
All right, so we're not going to talk about last year. Last year was the past. We had some, obviously, T's not here. I'm sure he's watching to see how it goes before he comes back, because you know he's going to be coming back. But we do have somebody we added. We added Coach Kerr.
Fellas.
What's up, man? Not like we haven't been talking for 10 minutes, but yeah. Welcome to the shit.
Try to stay involved at some point. So.
Or said he's like 5 minutes out.
Always late.
You know, 5 minutes in MOVA is like an hour and a half. So
It's eternity.
Should be like 30 seconds. Phillipsburg ain't that big.
All right, so should we get into the kickoff classic there?
Sure.
Or wait, let's get into the power rankings first. Everybody wanted to talk about the power rankings. All right, so here's our power rankings for this season. Obviously, number 1, MOVA. Number 2, the Comanche, who stunned the world last year.
The world?
Number 3.
Damn.
Number 3, the Cumberland County Cyclones. Number 4, Williamsport Wildcats. Number 5, the Bedford County Buffaloes. Number 6, hitting the old reboot button, taking it back to 2017, Mifflin County Tomahawks. Number 7, Wilkes-Barre Warriors. Number 8, the Carbon County Savages. Number 9, Berks County Raptors. Number 10, the revamped Hazleton Mustangs. Number 11, Snyder County Spartans. 12, the rebranded Electric City Skyhawks. 13, the Susquehanna Valley Bolts. And 14, the Somerset County Miners. So now that you guys heard that, what's your take?
Sounds about right to me. I mean, most of the new teams are at the bottom of the list. Most of the teams that are yearly contenders in the playoffs are at the top of the list. Sounds about right. I mean, MOVA should be one of the champs. UDC should be 2. They were number 2 at the end of the season last year.
I know a lot of conversations going into this season was Berks County Raptors coming back. Let's get your opinions on that.
I tried to find the roster online, and
It's
I
not
didn't
on
see
there
it.
yet.
Yes, I don't know what they have. I know Frankie plays for him, and he's dangerous. That's about it.
I mean, they had a pretty good talented team the last time they were in the league. I don't think anybody denied that. I think that was kind of a big reason, you know, why we kind of, you know, took it that we were going to bring them back, like thought about it, talked about it. You know what I mean? Was because they do bring that extra talent to the league. I mean, if they can keep their shit together and, you know, follow directions and do what they're supposed to do, I don't think they won't have a problem contending.
Vinny, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I have no problem with them being back. I mean, Brent summed it up. As long as you're going to do what's needed from you and expected of you, then I mean, again, the talent wise, they should be a playoff team. So
Wow, Vinny already calling it.
Should be a playoff team.
I need a new team this year. So
Damn.
God.
I mean, I'd definitely say they would have a good opportunity to be a playoff team.
Vinny's out of a team.
Who's their head coach?
I mean, but then again, we're taking top 8 this year too. So, you know,
Donaldson, Timmy Donaldson.
Oh, man.
everybody's gonna have to go out there and play their A game every week. Like, wins and losses are going to be important. Not that they're not normally, but for playoff seeding, like, it's not just your conference this year. You know, sometimes you can kind of skate by with, you know, a 500 record. 500 record might not get you in the playoffs this year.
Vinny, your lesser brother, Corey Miller, said the Hitmen are gone, so Vinny's gobbling the Raptors already.
yeah, I've already responded to him. New Year, same old jokes. Keep them moving, Corey.
Jesus.
All right, so let's get into the whole playoff format this year. We talked about it. It's going to be the top 8 teams, regardless of conference. So you could have 5 in the mountain, 3 in the valley, and vice versa. We're going to be doing a point system, which I'll get more into that as the season goes on. It's more like the PIAA point things minus the conferences. One of the things we talked about was tiebreakers. 1 being head-to-head, obviously. 2 being conference record. And then once you get into the thick of things at the bottom, 3 would be winning percentage of common opponents. 4 would be winning percentage of regular season. Point differential of regular season. And then if that still doesn't come up with a favorite out of the 2, there'll be consecutive 3-man sack races until there's a winner to decide it to make it into the playoffs.
Should do 40-yard sprints between coaches.
Oh, God. They'll never make it. I don't even know if they could do 20.
Flip a coin like they used to do back in the day.
Yeah, because there is nothing wrong with that.
Do a little Rochambeau.
Yeah. All right, let's get into some of the big names that's been moving around this year.
Oh, Jesus.
There's a lot of them. I think one of the big ones is Kasim Johnson going back to the Comanche. I don't know how that whole thing's going to happen with the whole McCullough being there, and at running back, he seemed to be establishing himself as the primary running back last year, his rookie year. And now Kasim's back there, so it could be a blessing or a curse, I think.
Just depends on what the system is.
Right. Another big move, Matt Weiss going from the Savages to the Cyclones.
That was a big pick. That was number 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's solid.
Number the 3rd best quarterback in the league last year, quite arguably. Malik Huffin of the Diamondbacks went to the Mustangs. Brent, your linebacker, TJ Sistrunk, went to the Mustangs.
Yes, he did. Closer to home for him.
Yeah.
Made sense.
Another big move, Hassan Brockman, the MVP of the Keystone Bowl 2 years ago. Brent, I'm sure you remember him. He
Thanks.
signs with the Wildcats.
What a dick.
Another big move, Brandon Kinney unretires, goes back to the Wildcats. Speaking of another person unretiring, Caleb Houston, who does this like every 3 years. He signed with the Vikings. Another blast from the past, Derek Zuzloff. He's with
Zeislav.
the Phantoms. Huh?
Zeislav.
Whatever.
Mm.
Tomato, tomato.
Yeah, he's a GFA original, man. He was back in the old school.
Yep. I think another big return, the Bell brothers going back to the Tomahawks.
Yeah, that surprised the shit out of me.
One of my favorite quarterbacks, not named Greg Medina, LaShawn Brown, back with the Tomahawks.
It was a 2017 reunion.
Yep.
Wow.
Let's see who else. Jermel Fleming went back to the Cyclones. Gabe George to the Cyclones. Jorge Caraballo, Cyclones. I mean, I think your biggest pickup is Angel Maldonado.
Solid.
Another one that Corey Miller mentioned, returning to the Cyclones. Ryan Contento.
Yeah, buddy. Left
Probably the
side
best-
locked down.
Probably the best old lineman to ever play in that league.
So the big thing with that is something I always wanted to see, and I never had a chance to see it, was Pete Ireland and Contento on the same offensive line. They seem to like rotate years.
It shit's unfair.
Brandon McNulty said Ivan Rivera's back.
He never really wasn't not here.
Trying to think of who retired this year. You always get like those swan song speeches, the Lou Gehrig speeches that go on for like 20 minutes about their time in the GEFA, even in the 2 years they've been there.
Jewett retired. He's now the D coordinator.
Oh, that's true. Jewett finally retired. I can't think of anybody else that retired, though. Thor, do you have anybody retiring from your team?
That's crazy.
Winning the chip and riding off into the sunset?
Not really. I mean, I got a couple of guys that might take a year off just to get healthy again and work on some things, but no, I mean, everybody's excited to defend it.
Oh, Marcus Struthers from the Wildcats retired.
Mhm.
Who was a solid running back for the Wildcats all those years. I got the joy of coaching him for a year in 2019 with the Shock. Roger Jane, another one, since Brent didn't want to mention it.
He's done. That's a big loss.
Yeah.
That's a big loss.
Yeah, there's no replacing Roger. I can tell you
Yeah.
that. Dude's an
Trust
animal.
me, I know.
he single-handedly beat the Comanche a few years ago when I was on your staff. Like he just
Yeah.
tore that O-line up.
That 2020 COVID year.
Yeah, yeah.
We stopped talking about that year. That's still painful.
I mean, I think it was a complete success.
It was a great year.
Got a
Better
whole
for you
season
guys.
in.
Brandon McNulty retired.
Did
We
he?
lost a
No
couple
shit.
teams. We lost
Yeah.
a hitman yet again to 11 man for like the 14th time.
It's the second, but who's counting?
The hitmen were here for a good time, not a long time.
We're gonna do double duty next year. We're gonna have 2 teams, 11 and 8. We'll be called
And
something else.
then we lost to Thunder, who went to 11 man.
Makes no sense to me, but good luck.
Yeah.
I mean,
They didn't have enough to play 8.
That's what I said.
obviously, we lost to Mountain Men after they forfeited the last game of the season. Trying to think who else we lost. Nightmare.
Nightmare. Diamondbacks.
McNulty retired, but still in the league. Just moved over with the Mustangs. We lost to Diamondbacks. The Shock rebranded to the Skyhawks. Trying to think what else. We gained some teams. We gained Somerset County Miners. Obviously, the Raptors that we talked about earlier. And Boozy's back. The Susquehanna Valley Bolts.
Back in the old stomping grounds.
So we went 3 teams in, 5 teams out. Still had 14 teams, so it is what it is at this point.
Gotta start looking for teams in Maryland.
I almost had one a couple of years ago.
I mean, that's like an hour drive versus 2-hour drive.
I always had a team in York and a team in
York would be fantastic.
Cumberland, was it? I think it was. In Maryland.
Cumberland County? Oh.
No. I think Cumberland, Maryland. It's like right over the border. All right, so obviously season already kicked off. Vinny made us wait too long to get back on here. Between him and Thor dragging our asses. So let's get into the kickoff classic. We brought it back only because we had uneven teams. One of those fields, we talked about the 2020 year. The Keystone Bowl was at Central Columbia, and that's where our kickoff classic was, even though Central Columbia really didn't want us there because of people on their sunflower seeds. But we had 2 games. I wouldn't say they're really great games. Like Mr. Predictor said, our talented scheduling staff struck again.
Yeah, that was brutal.
Thor, do you want to shed some light on that at all, or?
Define what?
I mean, I don't know if you know anybody in the scheduling committee or not, but
I heard
you know a guy.
people. I heard there's some tough matchups for teams, and the way things worked out, there were a couple not tough matchups, but somebody might have made a mistake somewhere along the way in the scheduling, and it was easily fixed by having those teams who were already going to play each other start out by playing each other in the kickoff classic. That's just the way it was explained to me.
Were you the one that made that mistake, Thor?
I'm neither going to confirm.
You can
nor
own it. I mean, if you don't, it's fine too, because we all already know. But I
right.
just thought maybe you'd like to get it off your chest and just own it in front of everybody that's watching.
Thanks, James. I appreciate it.
Burning it down.
How's it going, Kerr?
I'm doing well.
Good.
Good to see
All
you.
right, so let's get into the first game. Mark Anthony and I did the commentary for it. It was the old Susquehanna Valley Bolts versus Cumberland County Cyclones.
The old.
Well, Boozy's there, so. So, Mark Anthony seemed to be the only one that was like really disappointed in this. Well, not in the game, but kind of in the Cyclones. So, Brent, you want to like touch base on this? Like, you guys seem to struggle a little bit on defense in your 82-6 win. I mean, is it like old age catching up to you guys, or is it like the Bolts better than you thought it was?
How did they struggle? Define struggling.
Someone really said that you guys struggled on defense. And you gave
Yeah,
up
I just want the definition of what you guys think struggling means, because I saw a defense that had 5 turnovers, a touchdown, and only gave up 6 points. And that was because the kickoff went 17 yards, and we decided we didn't want to recover the onside kick, apparently, which wasn't technically an onside kick; it was a shank.
But you did give up a lot of yards.
Do yards win you games? When did yards start winning games?
I'm just going by what Mark Anthony said.
I'm just answering the question with another question.
He said your secondary was suspect. You guys gave up a lot of crossers over the middle. I mean, could this be like the downfall of the Cyclones? I mean, you guys struggled last year. Now it just seems like you guys are continuing to struggle this year on defense.
Again, we had 5 turnovers, a touchdown, couple sacks. Gave up 6 points. You can talk about yards and crossing routes all you want. Did they score points? No.
But the thing is, though, like,
but nothing.
You guys didn't start getting those turnovers.
You either score or you don't score.
You won by 76 points. Stop explaining yourself.
I mean, the way Mark
what are
Anthony
we talking
explained
about?
it. I mean, the way Mark Anthony explained it was.
Well, I mean, come on.
You guys really didn't get any turnovers. You guys didn't really get any turnovers until the Bolts started getting gassed. I'm just saying what he said.
Damn, they gave you the game, Brent?
Oh, I'm crying right now. This is hilarious. Hilarious. I love it. Yeah, we're washed. Cool. Believe that.
So Jewett's on the hot seat already after one game.
Apparently, yeah. One game. 5 turnovers, 6 points, block kick. I mean, the list goes on and on, but yeah, they're washed, bro.
Do you have like if things continue to get worse, do you have a backup plan for defensive coaching?
Oh my God.
You're looking at it.
Tavares said, which is a good point. I mean, if someone said that if the QB wasn't getting pressured, he was probably going to complete those passes. I mean, now I'm not saying you need pressure, but it helps, obviously, in your sake.
I mean, what are we talking about? Yo. Oh, my God. shit.
Do you think the defensive line bailed you out in this game?
Football must be different in other people's heads. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have the answers for this.
I mean, it seems like in your potential last year, you may be deteriorating. So, I mean, normally you'd have answers for these questions. It's maybe
I've
the
been
pressure.
deteriorating myself for a long time.
Maybe the pressure after what happened last year is just finally getting to you. Maybe it's just too much.
It is. Fold him up. You should see all the gray hairs and shit I got from it.
Wow.
I love it. Come
No.
on, what else we got? Come on.
No, in all reality, though, the Bolts didn't give up. They everybody was saying, "Oh, it's another boozy team." They came in 16 guys, but in like years past, those guys probably would have gave up, especially after that first quarter. And
yeah, they did. They had a couple guys out there balling for them, man.
Yep, I like that. Was it number 4, that Kennedy for the Bolts? Was that who that was?
I don't know his name. I know number 2.
Yeah.
Number 2 was doing all right.
Yeah, number 2, I liked him too. I think
they that's a tough draw, man. I mean, first year team, you're trying to build something and you got to take on the Cyclones.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be like putting them up against the Vikings, the Comanche. Like, you're just asking for what they got. Like, that's tough. That's tough for a first year team, 16, 17 guys, whatever they had. You know, like I told Boosie, man, you just got to keep them in it. Like, you got to take those first year lumps. We all know this. We've all been down this road. Like, you take beatings the first year and you learn from it. You build, you recruit. You put all the work in the next off season, you come back, you know, better for it. But you got to make it through that first year. So we'll see what happens. Who they got this week?
Warriors.
Doesn't get any better. But that's how it's going to be. I mean, you know, Valley's got some solid teams in it. There's some teams that think they're solid. We'll get to that, though.
Thor, what was your takeaway from the game?
I mean, I'll just kind of approach this more from an expansion director angle. It's one of those where I expected to see more numbers out of Boozy's squad. You know, in communication I've had with him, I thought their numbers would be higher, and he did tell me that they brought in some talent and that we'd be impressed in some areas. And like you said, there were definitely some bright spots. If they can get the rest of the roster that's listed on the website to show up around those guys, like, they might actually compete in some games. So, I mean, I'm not just going to count them out quite yet, because like you said, there was quite a bit of fight, but I'm hoping it just happened to be a week where they just didn't have as many guys available. I don't know. The Cyclones look good. It's Cyclone football. You know, I kind of was excited to see Greg get out there. I know that, you know, he had taken some time off in the off season to get himself right and whatnot. You know, it's Greg Medina. I mean, he's going to come out and play amazing football, and that's exactly what he did. Stum looked like he gained a little bit of weight, but he was there when he needed to be. And it was cool to see Ireland and Contento both on the same offensive line, like you brought up. I mean, it was just, I was excited to be, you know, around GEFA football. We pushed our practice off to make sure I could get out there and see the games. And I always enjoy it.
Boozy said they were missing about 9 guys for that first game. That's always tough to begin with.
Can't beat the Cyclones with missing 9 guys. You need them.
Vinny, what's your take on it?
That was your typical Cyclones opening game, 82-6. I mean, that's been your typical Cyclone game for years. A bunch of points to 6. That's it.
We're always good for one.
Business as usual. Yeah.
Doug Budziak says Stum's the Cyclones' next tight end.
Huh.
All right,
Linebackers and safety just cried a little bit right there. They just cried a little bit here and that. That's a tough matchup.
I mean, you already have 2 tight ends. What's a third?
Shit, I do got like 3, I think.
All right, let's get into the next game. Skyhawks taking on the Wildcats. A lot of people hyping up the Wildcats going into this season. Preseason ranking number 4. Skyhawks trying to find an identity. A lot of new guys on that Skyhawks team. A lot of new guys. A lot of young guys fresh out of high school. I mean, they do have Lammy back. But I don't know. What's your guys' take on the game?
I'm going to jump in here and say it was clear that they have some young guys. I know that the team that they kind of transformed from had a lot of young talent as well last year. It looked like they just didn't practice much together. I don't, you know what I mean? There was a lot of mistakes that seemed real simple. And I think that offensively, they've got stuff there to be able to make things happen. And they'll likely win some football games, but they got some things to figure out.
I didn't even see the game. Obviously, I was driving home from same area. But what I did catch of it, I mean, Skyhawks were already down like 3 scores, but they battled, man. From what I could hear, they got some turnovers in that game. You know, they had chances to score from what I heard, and they just didn't execute. And then I think Lammy got hurt, so you know that kind of stung. But you know, I'm not surprised by the Wildcats. You know, putting up a beating on them. I mean, they got a lot of recruits and shit in off season, so
right.
They got a good team. They got a good offense at least.
I think both teams got to focus
thing,
on their old line player. It's going to be a long season for both of them.
Yeah,
both
my big thing
were running
was
for their lives the whole game.
The Skyhawks had 3 opportunities on the goal line, and 0 times they made it into the end zone. You get those 3 scores, that's a game.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, the one they had it inside the 1, didn't they?
Yeah.
On that interception.
What?
Yeah, they had an interception and ran it back to the 1 and didn't score.
Wow. Yeah, that's tough, man. That's a tough way to try to win a game when you don't execute those opportunities. Especially, you know, in all, I guess, whatever, like kind of outgunned a little bit. You know what I mean? You got a pretty heavy loaded squad that went out, recruited this offseason, picked up some solid ballers. You know what I mean? You're a team that's rebuilt and rebranded, coming back fresh with young guys, fresh out of high school. Like to win a game, you can't not cash in on those opportunities. I thought you did say though on that pick 6, or that interception run back to the 1 he scored. Can you tell me that? Wasn't that Truitt?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, those are big plays.
One of the big things that I heard out of it, like being with the crowd and all that stuff, was how long that second quarter was. Thor, you know a lot about like long quarters.
I was at a home game for that first half.
Yeah. I mean, that was like third quarter in mobile when they're down by 12.
Oh shit!
Mm.
I love it. Nobody's safe tonight.
Yeah, most games are over in that second quarter. That was a long second quarter.
They weren't MOVA refs though, so they brought that MOVA feeling with them.
I guess.
I wasn't gonna mention that.
I mean, the refs didn't seem to notice, obviously.
And people thought games would be faster with a 40-second play clock.
Obviously not. I mean, my takeaway from both teams, offensive lines definitely struggled both sides. JR seemed to kind of struggle a little bit at quarterback. I believe he threw 2 interceptions. I didn't get to see the stats yet. But Haas came in that third quarter, and he looked good. Spreading the ball around. I mean, Wildcats definitely have weapons, and they're definitely going to make some noise this year. I just think they need to decide what they're going to do with that quarterback situation and then go from there.
It's not like JR can't play somewhere else if they decide to use Hall. I mean, that's a heck of a 1-2 punch with those two.
Yeah, don't forget that JR is a hell of a receiver.
He's a big dude.
You could probably play DN just as good as anybody else also.
Could you imagine that one?
I bet he could.
I know a lot of people were talking about it. There was a scuffle on the field. I guess something happened on the Skyhawks sideline, and all hell kind of broke loose for a little bit. Thor, you want to talk about that one?
I mean, I didn't really see anything specific that happened enough for me to be exact on. I know things were broke out. Looked like a couple Wildcats did run across the field. I should ask in the future when I'm the announcer and that happens, should I not play a crazy song like I did?
Would you play Welcome to the Jungle?
As soon as it started, I already had it ready. I put on Crazy Train by Ozzy. So everybody's like
nice.
running in. All aboard!
Yo. Oh shit.
But no, I mean, I don't know many specifics. I didn't take the time to pinpoint anybody or what was going on. So seemed like it got sorted out in about 3-4 minutes. We're back to action.
Yeah, inappropriate choice of music seems to be a theme here. If you you remember back to when Hit 'Em Up came on at the championship game.
I blame Travis for that. I literally we got done walking into the press box, and all I hear is the beginning part of that. I'm like, what the hell? It's right over the loudspeaker. So after going through that, let's get into next week's games. Should be some doozy ones. Let's start off with Skyhawks at Tomahawks. 1 p.m. game.
Kish Park.
Yep. Kerr, since you're the newbie, who you got in that one?
I got the Tomahawks winning that easy. You want to score?
Sure.
He said I got
Let's
the
go
Tomahawks easy.
71-31.
Damn.
Thor?
Oh, you know, Benny, he's
I'm
like, I'm going last.
I'm picking the Tomahawks. I'm at 58-20.
Brent?
Yeah, I had the pleasure of scrimmaging the Tomahawks. You know, they did all right. Their defense had some holes in the secondary that they needed to fix, which I'm sure they spent, you know, the last month fixing. But other than that, I mean, they ran the ball pretty well. You know, they dropped some dimes in there, some receivers. Like, you know, they put it all together. Tomahawks are always a playoff team, so you know, I got them winning this one easily too. 55-22.
Tomahawks 48-20.
Now, rumor has it, Brent, that the after that scrimmage, the Tomahawks might have exposed you guys.
They did.
You think that's what played a factor in your game with the Bolts?
Yeah, that's why we went out there and had 5 turnovers and a touchdown. And only gave up 6 points. You know, we learned some things.
Since you did the opposite in the scrimmage.
Yeah. I don't know. We were just giving out touchdowns that day on both sides of the ball to them. It was ugly.
All right, let's get into the next one. Warriors at Bolts. I will be roughing this one.
I'll go first. I'm going to pick the Warriors. I'm going to say 48-18.
$48.
Warriors 60. Warriors 62-12.
Yeah, I'll take the Warriors as well. I mean, they got Train, they got Delron.
Ooh, they got
I mean,
Delron.
that's a nasty 1-2 punch right there. I'm not sure what their quarterback situation's like, but you know, they've always been another perennial playoff team. Going against a newbie, yeah, that's gonna be a rough ride for the Bolts. 60-12.
Got the Warriors 55-6.
All right, next one. Miners at Comanche. Another 1 p.m. game.
Miners at the Comanche. Miners are a new team too. You know, they got to get that baptism. Sorry, but
So what's the score?
Damn, coming at me hard like that. Relax, dude. Shit. 68-6.
Wow.
Oh, I had 88-6.
Yeah, I'm 72-6, Comanche. So
64-2, Comanche.
Damn, give him the safety though.
Yeah.
He wanted to put up a 0, but he was like, "Nah, I can't do that."
I can't do that.
All right, next game. Savages at Spartans. Savages are kind of a intrigue this year.
Yeah, they lost some key pieces to their team.
Lost some pieces. A lot of things up in the air.
To a couple different teams. I think some of the guys went to the Mustangs. Some of the guys went to Comanche. Some of the guys came to Lancaster. Like that stuff.
I think one thing that makes this tough for a matchup is the weakness for the offense for the Spartans is their offensive line. And the strength of the Savages for their defense is their defensive line.
That is true.
Yep, you're right.
So that's one thing to factor into this. I mean,
I actually think the Savages defense might be the strength of their team, to be honest.
Well, they picked up that really good running back from the Diamondbacks, Josh.
Yeah, Gaycheck.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. Yeah, I know
He's
you're talking
good.
about.
He's
Yeah.
good.
He's a tough runner.
Yes, he is.
Savages 34-28.
34-28.
Yes, sir.
Who hurt you? Why do you think it's going to be so close?
They just told you every reason it's going to be a close game.
Oh man.
I got Savages 42-12.
And then Kirk comes in with a blowout.
That's what I mean. Like it's.
I got the Savages. I say 42-38.
Burton's still running the oop-de-oop offense or whatever they were running.
I think the Spartans are a better team this year, but like we said, I think their defense is just going to be the X factor in the game.
Josh Neal says he heard the Spartans lost their best wide receiver.
Do the Savages still got Casado as a DB?
No.
At DB?
No.
Oh,
No.
That's a tough loss for them.
In fact,
Yeah.
He did pick up.
I'm going to stay with it, though.
Yeah.
The fuck, man? He fucking calling truckers.
Vinny's about to tell us the ice machine is broken.
Shit. He's playing Modern Warfare while he's doing this. He's like, yeah, let's get it. Gonna hear him get cut up by some 12-year-olds.
I think it's going to be a really close game, actually. I'm right on the fence as to who I even want to pick here.
Stop it.
Believe it or not.
No, you're not.
I don't really. Everybody that has talked about the Savages so far, that I've heard of the season's only about the pieces that they lost. I'm still going to go with the Savages, but I'm going 34-32.
Thought you would lone wolf it with all that bullshit.
I was real close. I was real close. I'm not.
Come on, Thor, howl.
So the rosters that you do have loaded, they are up to date, correct?
Yeah.
Because I don't know. Some of these teams I haven't seen since last year, so I'm just looking.
Oh, that's right. My man Taj, he's with the Savages this year. Xavier Unique Brent said he's with the Savages.
Okay.
Tavares said that Savages are about to dog walk them.
Damn.
All right, let's get into our next game. This is a potential upset alert. Vikings at Mustangs, 1 p.m.
Yes.
Mustangs.
Well, I mean,
have you started the season off? Have you started the season 0-1 before?
First off, I wouldn't jinx myself. Second of all, yes, I have. My first year as a team, we were laying some groundwork and struggled and started off 0-1.
If they did lose, would they be the first defending champs to come out and start 0-1?
It might.
I don't know. You'd have to go back in the books for that one. You'd have to dig real deep for that.
Got a lot of Diamondbacks on their roster.
Yeah, I mean, all I heard all off season is how they're reloaded, retooled. They're a different team. They're going to surprise people. You know what I mean?
Sort of.
Look, you won one game in 3 years. Okay, you can talk about it all you want until you put it on the field and prove it. Your words mean dick. So that's
Vikings
just how I
didn't
feel
fare
about
well
that.
with Diamondbacks, though.
Who's their quarterback?
And on the
Fuck
road,
up, Vinny.
we all know how they travel across the state on the road. In those early games, Easter Miracle. Look, I don't think the Vikings are going to come unprepared for this one, especially defending champs. You know, they don't want to start 0-1. So, you know, I got the Vikings 62-28.
I don't know if a defending champ's ever gotten 0-1.
I'm saying no.
Not this week.
John Shoup says the Mustangs have a former coach of the year at the Mustangs.
So do we. Twice.
All right, calm
He's
down.
like, he's like, I'll raise you. He's like, I'll bet you your one. I'll call your one, and I'll raise you a second one.
Dre Moses says Death Row. We've been seeing that a lot in the offseason.
Oh, Death Row, yeah.
Vikings
It
56.
was a good record label.
Yeah, because they had Suge Knight beating the brakes off everyone. What were you saying, Vinny, with the score?
Vikings 56-38.
Ooh. That's
Thor, you have
close.
the same quarterback as last year? Or is that a secret?
Yeah, it's top secret.
Is that top secret?
I ain't got no secrets there. I got both my quarterbacks returned.
Who's your other one?
I have Billy and Antoine. I've had both of them for.
Do you
Oh,
got
yeah.
Jimmy Werner and Zach Hoy?
Yep.
Oh,
That's enough for me.
Let's be honest here.
38 point. Respect this fucking defense. Holy cow. All right, sorry. Go ahead. Let's go.
As coaches, I'm gonna
64-18. 64-18. I'll give you a couple fumble recoveries or something. I don't know.
All right, as coaches,
Fuck that. 56-38. You're going to give up points.
They got Albro. Are you kidding me? That's a lockdown.
all right, for this game, as coaches, I'll start with Kerr first. What do you think the Mustangs have to do to win this game?
Knock both their quarterbacks out of the game. You asked.
It's realistic, you know. Can't win if you can't play if you have a quarterback, I guess.
We tried. It didn't work.
So, Billy, you got to be like Suge Knight. Take out their quarterbacks.
I'm not saying hurt them. I'm just saying that's the only way I see them winning the game. Just being honest.
I mean, they're gonna have to control. They're gonna have to control the ball, not give turnovers, and they're gonna have to get turnovers. I mean, that's gonna, and they're gonna have to find some way to protect their quarterback in passing situations, because you know that's a physical front five they got. You know, their linebackers get sideline to sideline. Zach Hoy's the best linebacker in the league, in my opinion.
Kerr, you
but
just
typically-
All you gotta do is watch the film. Film speaks for itself.
Yeah, Moba's typically solid up front on both sides of the ball. So, I mean, that's going to be a huge determining factor there. Like, if the Mustangs can block them,
Yeah,
we'll see. But
they're gonna have to find a way to control the ball, not turn it over, and take the opportunities they get from Mova and cash them in.
Curry, you opened up a can of worms.
Did I make
Tavares is
somebody
going
mad?
to his Tavares is going to his gallery after you said Albro was locked down.
I like Al, bro. I was just teasing.
I mean,
All
it's not saying they can't get this win, dude. It's early season, first game of the year on the road in their house. So, in the Mustangs' house. So it's not that they can't get this win. It's just that they're going to have to come out and play, a perfect football game right out of the gate.
Brandon McNulty said the Mustangs roster has 32 new players. Keep sleeping.
And see, we don't know that. I mean, we know that they're new, but we haven't seen them play together. So you got to go with what you know.
Right.
Jimmy Warner.
So you
and
got
Mr. Hoy,
32 new players. What the fuck does that mean? You got 32
Right.
new guys. Cool.
And
32
you're
new
going
guys
up
that
against
never
the
played in this league, never played football together. You're building that team basically from scratch is what you're saying. Cool.
and you're going up against a team
Put it on
that
the
has
field.
continuity for years. I mean, that right there is huge.
Right. You're going against an established program that's been together for probably the last, 5 or 6 years now.
I mean,
With
the
an
Vikings
established
are
coaching
getting
staff.
old. The Vikings are getting older. They're probably up there with the Cyclones in age.
Mm.
And Thor always drops a game he should win with ease.
That's what I said. It's an early season game. There's not saying that they can't win this game.
And let's be honest, if we were having this conversation last year, like, none of these scores would have even been as close as we're calling them now. So, I mean, I think they're getting a little bit of respect just for the offseason moves that they made. Like, last year, we'd have been sitting here talking 82-0, 72-6, stuff like that.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, the rest you got to prove if you can put it all together. You could have the pieces, but if they can't play together, it don't matter.
I mean, yeah, do they got it? Yeah. I mean, I talk to people. I know things, you know what I mean? But what you have and what you can put on the field and coach are two different things.
Weren't you guys all in the same situation last year with the Buffaloes? Everybody's like, no way they're going to be any good. And look what they did.
Right.
I thought they were solid last year. Very, very
I'm
good.
pretty confident Melhorn said they were going to go 0-10.
Me? You'd be wrong.
But
I'll
hey,
never pick anybody to go 0-10.
But the second they came out and started playing solid football, they instantly started getting respect from everybody. So
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, they come out and they punch the Vikings in the mouth week 1, then hey, they're going to get the attention that they are so seeking.
All right, let's move on. Next game, Wildcats Cyclones. This is the Cyclones home game, 1 p.m.
On the turf, on the Smurf turf.
I was actually going to ask you that. You put them on the turf, or you going to make a play on the grass?
We're on the turf.
Uh-oh.
I was able to get my shit in early enough this year that I beat the schools to the punches.
That's terrible. Taking fields away from kids.
Not for little kids at that. Probably
I
no
know.
youth soccer teams and stuff.
Fuck those kids. They got more fields in Manheim Township.
Jesus Christ. All right, so who wants to start this one?
I'm out.
I'll say this is going to be the show all or the tell all of all that recruiting that Williamsport did. I got former players or current players on both teams, so it's kind of hard for me to say, but I say you got to go with the Cyclones at home, especially. I think the pieces they added with what they already had, you put Contento and 00 and those 2 tight ends on the line, and you could run as much as you wanted to run at will. in certain things, certain situations. That's going to be a hard matchup to try to put the correct personnel on the field when you bring double tight in the game. If they can adjust to that, it'll be closer. But if they don't, I think you could control the ball up and down the field if you want to with your 2 tight end set, and then you have all those wide receivers. So I'm going to say, with all that, 58-48 Cyclones.
Who wants to go next? I think my biggest concern in this game is if something happens in this game where it gets out of the Wildcats' control and there needs to be adjustments and all that to be made. I'm concerned about the coaching staff for the Wildcats to be able to get into that and control everybody that's there. Because, you know, when you're losing, people start blaming each other as things start going wrong. And that has been Achilles' heel with the Wildcats, has been their coaching staff. I'm hoping to see them really take control of this game and keep things under control for the Wildcats and be able to keep them in the game. Because if they don't, they're going to be in trouble.
Mine's going to piss some people off. I'm going Cyclones, but I'm going 66-56.
James, you said all that, but did you make a pick and a score?
I haven't picked any of them.
Oh, I was gonna.
I'm the reigning and defending champ for the last 3 years. I'm trying to give you guys a
What's that
chance
mean?
here.
Make your picks.
There we go.
Oh, screw that. Make your picks.
No, I'm not picking this year.
Yeah, and then they show up on the website on Thursday. Get out of here with that dumb
Nope.
shit. After you watch it back, yeah.
I already have I already got Mr. Predictor doing the picks.
Anyway, Cyclones 68-48. The Cyclones D line is too much.
Thor, you made your pick?
Yeah,
Who'd you pick to win?
Cyclones.
Brent, you think your defense has enough gas in the tank for this game?
I mean, after all your shit talking, yeah, you fire them all now, boy. Shit's about to get real.
I don't know. Oh, JR is about to be a problem to you.
Hey, I mean, it'll be interesting. I can't remember the last time. I don't think we played the Wildcats in an actual game since like 2010 or 11.
Wow.
So it's interesting. We'll see what's up. Been a long time. They got some good players, man.
If J.R. Haas and number 2 is on, it could be a long game, both ways. I mean, it could be. But if they get the JR early, that the score could be different.
I don't think the Cyclones have gone against a wide receiver like Elliott since probably Kez? With just the dynamic play that he makes, the way he comes back to the ball. I mean, you could throw the ball anywhere and chances are Elliott's going to be there to come down with it.
I mean, we've played some good wide receivers since then, but Kez was a different animal, man, for sure. Like, he was a different breed. I don't think there's ever been another wide receiver in this league like that guy was.
Jared Heil said, Wildcats 64, Cyclones 52. he said the Cyclones D line got a lot of pressure, but only one sack against the Bolts.
You don't have to.
Wasn't
You
that the
don't have
Bolts
to get
quarterback?
sacked. You don't have to get sacks to cause problems. 5 turnovers. 5. Count them. 5.
After the Bolts were gassed. Yeah, we got that.
Okay. They were gassed from the opening kickoff, bro. Stop it. They were gassed when that schedule dropped, homie. Come on now.
All right,
Shit.
let's move on to the game of the week. Raptors at Buffaloes. This one I think is interesting.
Oh shit.
We do have some good ones this week. One could be interesting. Raptors at Buffaloes.
It's at Buffaloes.
That's definitely a
I'm going to take
big-
Buffaloes. I'm going to take the Buffaloes. 36-32. Buffalo's proved last year, man, they can win games against good teams. And they're at home. That's a long haul for the Raptors. That's like a 3-4 hour drive, probably.
I like it. What was your score?
They move locations too, from what I understand. So the drive's now a little longer than it was previously. And I don't really know a whole lot about the Raptors. So
We can go
I just know
Buffaloes.
they normally have a good team.
Buffaloes 42-36. That's not your typical 8-man offense. I think that gives the Raptors some problems.
Yeah, I hope they watch film.
That's different.
If the Raptors didn't
Believe
watch
it or
film,
not.
they're gonna have their eyes open.
Those dudes from the Buffaloes
This
are
game's
physical,
actually
too.
1 hour 52-minute drive.
For who?
Well, obviously for the Raptors.
Oh.
The away team?
I didn't know if you meant from your field, like where they were, because I said their field got moved.
I mean, I just did a search from Reading to Bedford to see how far it was. It's 1 hour and 52 minutes.
Oh.
Well, right now, from what I'm getting from the Raptors, it's 4 hours and 45 minutes. If not on a toll road.
4 hours? Where are they at?
Even the
Reading?
longest option here shows 2 hours and 6 minutes.
I don't know where the field is.
Taking them horse and buggies from Reading is what they're doing.
Whoa, calm down with that talk.
Well, that's what I mean for 4 hours. If it's 2 by car, like, what are you doing?
It's in Somerset, 441 South Franklin Ave, Somerset.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that definitely
Fucking
changes.
damn
things.
near Pittsburgh.
They're going to be playing on turf.
Nice.
I guess
Yeah.
their home field is grass, and they're calling for 2 inches of rain on their field at a high school, and they're worried that the AD is going to kick them off their field.
Well, at least they're smart and getting out in front of it now before they do get in that situation. Like, oh, well, now we're fucking screwed. We got to delay our game.
Right.
I mean,
So
yeah,
how
you have to
far-
drive a little farther, but at least you still get to play that shit.
Thor, how far is Reading to Somerset?
If you pay tolls, 2 hours and 25 minutes. If you don't pay tolls, 2 hours and 51.
It's supposed to rain Sunday, isn't it? You know, we took all these games in consideration, but I didn't realize it's supposed to rain on Saturday. So that could have I think all the wins are the same. I think the score may be a little different on some of them.
You want to change that Vikings one then?
No. Nah.
Shit, that might actually favor the Vikings more if it does rain.
I don't know. Shit might be sinking.
Damn. In the mud.
Playing that
I think
Titanic music.
last year we had 2 games that weren't mud bowls.
Oh, shit, y'all should get some turf.
Yeah, I'm gonna get that put right.
I mean, shit, you've been doing big business up there in Mobile, bro. You should be able to buy a damn turf field by now. They should just give you one. I
Yeah.
mean, you're like, what, the mayor of Phillipsburg now or something?
Not quite.
All right, did everybody make their picks for the Buffaloes Raptors?
No. If it's a wet game, I'm going with the Buffaloes. I'll say 34-28. But I really think the Raptors are a team that a lot of people are just going to look at as new that they're going to make a mistake with. I mean, I've heard people that have seen them work a little bit based on some scrimmages, and the Raptors have some absolute weapons. If we're talking a nice sunny day, I actually pick the Raptors to win this game. But if we're talking about mud or if we're talking about rain, even if it's on turf, I think the Buffalo style play might be to their benefit. So I'll take the Buffaloes.
I got the Buffaloes 38-28.
Now here's my question for you guys. You think with the way the Buffaloes came out last year with that offense, surprised a lot of people. Do you think people are going to adapt to it this year and it's going to fall off? Or
I think you gotta watch your film, and I think you gotta where you line up your linebackers are going to make a difference.
Good coaching staffs will definitely be a little bit better prepared for that offense. Coaching staffs that don't do their homework will still get exposed.
and I think it's a lot with the linebackers, a lot of gap integrity.
Yep. Slant your lines a little bit, move people around, confuse them.
They got a big physical running back, man. That guy gets downhill. He's hard as shit to tackle.
Jewett says it's 3 hours and 10 minutes. So we may never know.
So it's somewhere between 2 hours and 50 minutes and 4.5. Cool.
All right. So now that we made our picks, I'm going to go down a list of names for the teams, and we'll see what your guys' takes on who's a contender and who's a pretender.
Fucking Trey Gilchrist recommendation.
All right, I'll start with the
When you say contender, as in contender in the playoffs or contender in the championship?
playoffs.
Okay.
I'll start with the power rankings. Let's start first with Somerset County Miners. Contender or pretender? Please explain why.
First year in the league, pretender.
So you already know Brent's got it taken care of.
Look, I mean, this league's tough, man. There's good teams. There's a lot of talent across the board. You got to come into this league and get your baptisms, take your lumps, figure it out in that first year, and really understand how this league plays ball. And then usually you see better growth the second year, as long as they make it through. So, but yeah, no offense. I mean, just the way it is.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat with Melhorn on that. I say pretender, but I've been working with them over the course of the off season, and I know some of the guys that are on that roster are big heart player type of guys. And those guys are great for a first year team. When you're trying to lay a foundation and get things underneath you, I just don't know of anybody of real big play ability yet. So I have to be pretender on this.
I'm sure we all agree with that. I mean, just new roster, new team, new everything. They're gonna, like Brent said, they're gonna take their lumps. That doesn't mean that they're not a good established organization. They'll get better. Not
Yep.
this year.
Who's banging? It sounds like they're working on the mine.
No, I don't hear shit.
It's probably you. Man.
Of course it is. It's always me.
Vinny?
Man, again, everybody summed it up. New teams, you don't know nothing about them. I mean, you can revisit it a couple weeks down the road, but for right now, they're pretenders.
All right, next team. Susquehanna Valley Bolts.
Same as the last team.
Yep.
I mean, we could probably just give you our top 8, and I mean that would kind of explain everything else for the rest.
Well, there's
that's
only
what
4
we're looking for, right?
Yeah, I mean, another first year team. They're still building a roster at this point, so they got a long way to go. They definitely not contending this year, but another team. Take your lumps, learn, figure it out. In the off season, recruit harder, and you need a solid coaching staff in this league. You need people who are going to be responsible at the top, delegate, hold everybody accountable, and usually everything else starts falling into place after that. So they're gonna have to learn. Next one. We're all in agreement, so just move on.
Skyhawks. Why don't you just give me your top 8 then? We'll make this quicker.
Jesus Christ.
And remember, this is for prosperity. So
Now I gotta go to the fucking website.
I'll give you mine.
Yeah, I was
In no
going to say, Go ahead, Thor.
I know them off the top of my head. In no particular order. I've got Vikings, Tomahawks, Wildcats, Buffaloes, and then I've got Cyclones, Raptors, Comanche. In that 8th spot, I'm not 100% on. I feel the Warriors could potentially break into that. I don't know if there's anybody else in the mountain that I think will. So Warriors would maybe be my 8th.
who wants to go next?
I mean, it's the same 8. I don't have an order for you, though. I mean, so in no order: Cyclones, Warriors, Tomahawks, Comanche, Vikings, Buffaloes, and Raptors.
I mean, yeah, that sounds pretty legit. I will say, though, with what the Mustangs have picked up this offseason, if they can figure out how to put it together, I mean, they could be one of those teams right there.
Yep.
I mean, that's really one of the only other teams that I really feel like could potentially spoil somebody else's playoff chances and take one of those 8 spots versus the 8 that we just gave.
Yeah.
I mean,
Who's your question mark in there? If they come in at 8, who do you take out?
I mean, I would say it's probably between Wilkes-Barre and the Raptors. You know, a lot of turnover this offseason in Wilkes-Barre. I know they brought a lot of guys back, so I mean they should still have a pretty good team, but they did have some change up. You know, Raptors are a brand new team. Obviously, we know they got talent. We know they can play ball. I mean, they've been doing it at 8-man for a long time. You know, they did have a go in our league for a half a season. So it's not like they're not really somewhat accustomed to what we do here. But, you know, like I said, the Mustangs can figure out how to put it together. They do got talent on that team.
I think
I mean, I think the Cyclones, the Vikings, the Buffaloes, you know, I think Williamsport's probably in there as a lot. Tomahawks, you know, like I said, every year they seem to they're a pretty perennial playoff team. So, you know, realistically, I think out of those 3 teams, it could be any 2 of the 3.
Yeah, going top 8 definitely makes it interesting.
I think your top 6 that you have on your power rankings are a lock. The 7 and 8, it can go anywhere between Raptors, Mustangs, or Warriors and Savages. That's the battle, in my opinion.
7 through 10.
Yep.
Yeah, my thing with the Savages is I'm just concerned about the guys that they lost. Like they lost some heavy hitters in their team from last year.
Yeah.
Some of their key guys too. That's the big part about it.
They sure did. I think what keeps them in is that D line may really.
Yeah.
I just don't know enough about what the rest of they have, but just looking at their roster, I think that puts their name in the conversation.
Yeah. I mean, Spartans are building. You know what I mean? I still think they're a couple years out from it. The Skyhawks totally retooled, rebranded.
I think the Spartans just need to open up their playbook a little bit.
Yeah, that old school shit. It's tough to run in this style.
It is. It's kind of almost predictable. I'm not saying he's not a good coach. I'm just saying I think it's very predictable in a lot of things he does.
All right, we got anything else?
Nah, man. I think we hammered it all out.
All right, well, that's it for us then. Make sure you guys check out Shane Walsh's 4th and 20 Players Only podcast on Wednesday. Should be around 8:30, 9 o'clock. Make sure you see Mark Anthony. I believe his is Thursday at 9 with Mark My Words. And Trey Gilchrist, whenever he decides to do his Unsolved Mysteries or Gilchrist's Truths or whatever the hell he's doing. So the whole GEFA network should be back and running smooth. And that's it for us. We will see you next episode. As for me, Coach Kerr, Coach Milhorn, Coach Marlowe, Coach Vinny, we're out of here.
Later.